So I want to start by talking through calendar, right? To me, the calendar is the ultimate source of truth. As far as I'm concerned, it's one of the things that, as busy as the calendar might look, and I'll show you my calendar in a little bit, it becomes this way for you to know what you need to do, when you're going to do it, and also to keep track of things so that everything is in your brain. You don't forget things. You can put not only the appointments and the scheduled things that you have, your after school activities, your meetups with friends, whatever you want. You can put all that stuff in there, but you can also put tasks in there, things that are things like homework and the kinds of things that are timely. So you can start to control your time and be aware of your time. The awareness is a really big aspect to this. So there's going to be some things in this where it feels like you're just adding details to add them. But at the end of the day, it's what's going to make things less stressful because you can always refer to this and always know what's going on. So I generally am pretty tool agnostic, meaning like you can use whatever kind of tool you want. You can even do this on paper to some extent. It's certainly a lot easier when you're using it digitally. I am really partial to Google Calendar and Google in general. It's free. Parents can set it up for you if you're too young, and they can monitor it if they have to. But it's free and it's really easy to use, and it works on your mobile device and syncs all around. And so what I'm going to teach is how to do this in Google Calendar, but the concepts will apply if you decide you want to use some other kind of tool. So when you have your calendar here, this is a blank calendar to begin with. I'm going to start with some real basics, and then we'll build from there. So you can make an appointment, right, or whatever you want. So, for example, if you want to put school in here, let's say you go to school from 8:30 to 3:30. So I'm just going to click and drag that, 8:30 to 3:30, right? So school. Now, this is where I get into the sort of nitty-gritty stuff where I think this is important. I like to put the location. So obviously, you probably know where your school is, right? But the reason it's helpful to do this, I'm going to put in my kid's school here. The reason it's helpful to do that is because one of the things that's nice in the Google sort of sphere of tools is that, for example, if you go on Google Maps and you are looking for something, whatever, and you have put in your calendar this location, it will actually show up on your calendar. Now, maybe that doesn't matter, but where it does become valuable is that you can then put something else in your calendar. Let's say you get invited to go to a party and you want to put that in your calendar. Because you put the location, Google can automatically show you how long it will take you to get from one to the other, right? So it's really helpful. And then if you want to share this with somebody at some point and share your calendar, which we'll talk about as well, it's useful to have locations in there so that things don't get overlapped, and more information is better. Now, you don't have to put this in every day, right? Because we can actually do repeats. So this is every day. You're going to go to school, presumably every day, and it repeats weekly, daily, whatever you want. So we're going to go daily, but it doesn't repeat obviously on the weekends. So we got to go to custom. You can do every weekday. That's an option, but I'll show you how to do custom. So we can do custom. It repeats every week on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, right? And then when does it end? If you want to, you could say that this ends on, the last day of school, or you can just say never. And when you get to that point, you can delete it. And then it will ask you if you want to delete all the ones after that. So I'm going to put that in, and that's it, right? So now it's in there. So this, I think, is already really helpful because you can start to think about what your day looks like. So let's say you have swim practice that's at 7:30 in the morning, or let's say you're considering signing up for a swim team and the practice is 6:30 in the morning. Yes, of course, logically, that school starts at 8:30. You can finally figure it out. But I think visually, it's really helpful to be like, all right, so I'm going to have practice on, let's say it's 6:30 to 7:30, right? And then let's say this practice repeats. Let's put a location and say, I don't know where. I'll find some nearby pool. That's not accurate, but I'll say, wherever the pool might be. And then I want to repeat this. And let's say this repeats weekly, but I'm going to make it that it's every Monday and Wednesday and Friday, right? There you go. So now I have my swim practice. So now I know that, for example, if I need to get ready or prepare something, I have this time in here. If I needed to do something else that was earlier, hopefully you don't, you could do that there. And then, let's say I want to do, I'm going to do French lessons with somebody, and that's in the afternoons at 5 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Great. So French lessons I'm going to put in a random location. Let's say Kumwan. Why not? Because that has nothing to do with French, but whatever. And then I want to repeat this again. Let's do weekly. I'll do custom. So every week on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So the reason that repeats are helpful is because if I want to change something on one, it can change them in all, and then I don't have to go back and do that over and over. So that's the real basics, right, of how we use Google Calendar to set up our sort of overall general schedule, how you create appointments. Now in the next video, we're going to get into some more advanced stuff.